Hello, hello, this is Fear Dragon coming at you with another StarCraft 2 netcast. Today we have a Protoss versus Zerg, so let's go ahead and introduce these players. Over here in the top right hand corner we have the red Protoss, Pictionary. And he's going to have to play Pictionary with these letters over here to face his opponent. Down here in the bottom left hand corner we have the blue Zerg, and submitter of this replay we have the one, the only, Murazor. Murazor has been seen in a couple of the more recent casts, so go ahead and check out those games if you haven't, mostly Zerg versus Zerg. Currently he's actually the only one that's really submitting me a good number of Zerg replays, so please send me some Zerg replays if you're a Zerg player, or Terran replays if you're a Terran player. But we do see a Forge Fast Expand coming out in this game. Pictionary going for that, probably going to be next, or actually we're going to have to wait and see whether he decides to go for a Nexus first or if he decides to go for Forge first. Nexus first, a lot riskier, and really on this map where you have this really wide open choke, no high ground advantage or anything, you probably want to go for that Forge first. Yeah, there we do see it. Forge first on this map, a very wise decision from Pictionary. Meanwhile, we see Murazor. He's probably going to be... looks like he's going to go for a relatively early spawning pool. That seemed like a pretty gosh darn early spawning pool, so it might be wanting to do a little bit of very early aggression with those early Zerglings to maybe harass and potentially punish a player that, for example, would go for Nexus first before Forge, or maybe someone that decides to go for their Nexus before they throw down another cannon or something of the sort. And it looks like we might actually see that last one, as we do see Pictionary saving up quite a bit of money, now rallying over his next probe to go ahead and build that Nexus. But we do see this drone here. He's going to have revenge for all of Zergkind, and is going to go ahead and block the Protoss expansion from going down. Not something you usually see. Ooh, looks like the drone just barely escapes. Would like to see him do something like a gas steal to keep this drone alive, make sure he doesn't actually end up dying, as right now he'll die in just one hit. Can this probe? No, that probe does not decide to go after the drone. This probe is out for blood though. He smells it. He smells that red health bar, but finally decides, hey, you know what, I should probably throw down that cannon just in case, because we see Zerglings out, as I was talking about before. And of course this is not by any means an all-in play. Just a little bit of a sacrifice in economy to make sure that Protoss throws down additional cannons, just to make sure he gets out those very early Zerglings and delay this expansion just a little bit. But he does have these Zerglings out now, and he will be able to put on a little bit of pressure. He might be able to get around past this cannon if he makes it up there in time. No, just... oh, actually, I don't know if this cannon will actually completely cover this entire area. I do believe that Murazor can sneak by. Yes, there it is, the sneak by. Oh, but this Cybernetics Core is going to create a little bit of a wall off, but I think that there is a little bit of surface area right around here that these Zerglings are going to go ahead and harass this expansion. So it's going to force another cannon to be thrown down in the near future. If he wants to ever start mining from this base, he will be chrono boosting out a Zealot to deal with these Zerglings. Going to try and avoid producing that additional cannon. Meanwhile, we do see this third being taken from Murazor, and meanwhile he is also using that one Zergling we see over here to make sure that there is nothing funky going down. He doesn't want to see any kind of cannons or any kind of other very annoying things that can delay his expansion. Finally, the Zealot does end up popping out, but I don't know if he can take this number of Zerglings. The cannon will certainly help, and it does dwindle the number of Zerglings left over, but he's being very, very aggressive with the Zealot. Hopefully the Zealot doesn't take too much more damage. No, looks like the Zealot will end up surviving and finally chase this last Zergling out. This Zergling's going to go tell his friends. But what a mean guy, this one Zealot. Oh no! The Zergling actually deciding he doesn't have any more friends. Just deciding to go ahead and commit suicide, since he really... That's a really sad Zergling. But anyways, don't worry, the Zergling doesn't exist anymore, so we don't have that sad Zergling. The rest of the Zerglings are going to be very, very happily scouting around to make sure no annoying pesky probe... Whoa, that's a tongue twister. Pesky probe pylons come down. And here we do see that probe scouting out the third. He is going to go ahead and move over to the natural, where this queen will... walk right past the probe. No worries there. The third is finally up, so that queen is going to go ahead and do its first larva inject over there. And this probe gets a money scout, sees that there is, in fact, no lair quite on the way, sees the timing of how many gas geysers there are, sees that there is, in fact, no roach warren, and that's actually a really big tell. But that is going to make Pictionary feel pretty comfortable with where he's at. I also think that he probably did see these two gas geysers as well. So I think that Pictionary is going to feel pretty darn good about his position right now. We do see +1 weapons being researched. We also see both of these gas geysers finally being taken. So Pictionary likely going to be looking to put on a little bit of aggression off of 2 bases and maybe get a little bit of tech up. Do we see a potential for a Stargate play? I'm not actually too sure just yet. I did hear a pylon or something getting warped in. Here we go, 2 additional gateways, so we might be seeing some kind of 6 gate pressure. Wouldn't be too surprised. Ignore that. That is very, very unimportant for right now. Meanwhile, we do finally see that roach warning and the evolution chamber coming down. So that means that Murazor looking to get those upgrades, looking to get those roaches, and finally starting that lair as well. So with this, he'll be able to produce double upgrades, 2 at a time. A great play. That does mean that Murazor is looking for the end game. He's not going to be looking to end the game with these roaches. And it is going to be interesting to see what kind of tech path he does decide to go down. Might be looking for a bit of a reactive play from Murazor still for now, as he is going to be sending out the Zergling. He's going to continue to poke and see exactly what the Protoss is doing. We do see a robotics facility almost completed for the Protoss player, so that does mean he's either going to be going for that Immortal play or the Colossus play. So we're going to have to see which one he opts to end up doing. And wouldn't be too surprised if we did see an Observer coming out first, as, you know, he is a little bit in the dark. He did get a very, very good money scout with that initial probe, but he still probably wants to see the timing on that layer. But it looks like for now, he's just going to go ahead and make that Immortal. Wants to play it a little bit safe, as, you know, if there was some kind of big roach timing push coming up soon, he does want to be a little bit prepared for that. Meanwhile, we do see Burrow coming down, so that means that Pictionary is definitely going to need to get that Observer out at some point in the near future, as he does not want to get completely caught off guard by that Burrow play. We do see quite a few Warpins in, and it looks like he might be looking to move out. He is going to go ahead and poke out with his entire army now, leading the way with this Stalker and this Zealot. These are the Stalker and Zealot. These are the same ones that volunteer to go out in a Protoss versus Protoss 4-gate situation. Those are the ones that scout around, and it looks like a couple of Zerglings getting caught off guard, but they do manage to get a scout out on this army getting moving out, so that is going to queue up a couple more roaches to be produced. We already see quite a few roaches being produced, and wow, actually look at this creep spread from Murazor. Really great creep spread, I have to say. This Overseer is also going to go ahead and see this probe, so if Murazor is paying attention... Oh, actually, these Zerglings doing a great job running right past the army, going to do a bit of damage to that Immortal, who's running back to that cannon for support, but it looks like this Zergling is going to do more damage than it really should to this Immortal. Oh my god, this Immortal completely not realizing they can kill that Zergling, finally now does turn around saying, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can take out that Zergling. Yes, you can. But now it looks like it's going to be up to Murazor to defend his third. We do see the army coming in, or at least quite a few Zerglings. They were going to go ahead and pick off a couple of reinforcements. Maybe try and get... No, does not want to take the risk of losing those Zerglings, trying to pick off that Immortal. But we do see a good influx of roaches. He's going to need a little bit more than this, as the Force Shields are pretty darn good. Oh, there's the Burrow. The Burrow is going to help him recharge a little bit of his health. Going to delay these Force Shields from really being able to be utilized effectively, but I don't think he has the roach count still. He's going to go ahead and... Oh, actually a little bit of a miss on Burrow. But you know what? This is still a great play from Murazor. It's going to buy him time. We can see here in the unit time station, or the production tab, sorry, that 40 Zerglings are being produced, and that 40 Zerglings is going to be amazing against this army. We can see here Pictionary has about like 6 or 7 force fields left. So he will have quite a few force fields to deal with these Zerglings. We're going to have to make sure that he doesn't let these Zerglings run in too far in. He has to make sure that the force fields are good in protecting his Immortals. The Immortals are taking a bit of damage from those Zerglings, but still the Roach count is not quite high enough. The Roaches not in the back, not really being able to do a good flanking position. The Spine Crawler is starting to take a lot of damage, but we do see more and more units being rallied in for Murazor. The positioning for Pictionary is pretty darn good, but this flank is starting to work out slowly in Murazor's favor, and the drones getting pulled in, but still just not quite enough for Murazor. He's still biding time. He's waiting for the +2 attack upgrade and the Galileo reconstitution that will allow his Roaches to snuggle into this Protoss army to really build up. Meanwhile, we do see this third going down for the Protoss player. So he is not meaning to make this game end with just this. He is going to say that, hey, if I get this game over here, that's going to be great, but I don't need it to end right here. Meanwhile, we see still the army pushing forward. Now it's nestled up right against this third. This hatchery is actually going to be a great wall off against any potential Zerglings and Roaches that would want to come in, and Murazor is going to realize that, going to go ahead and back off with his drones. Meanwhile, we do see a counterattack of Zerglings and Roaches going over. We're going to have to see if they decide to go over to the third. Meanwhile, we don't see anything over here. It looks like Pictionary is going to have to pull his army the entire way back. How much damage will Murazor be able to do? He's picking off the cannon. Once he goes for the cannon, oh, it looks like a great force field and warp-in of 2 sentries over here for Pictionary. So he will be able to delay this push from coming up into the production of Pictionary. He will only be able to kill off this one robotics facility. Maybe, oh, actually does decide to go and use that burrow as that. Oh, actually, the robotics facility is completely unpowered, so he won't be able to do much over there. There are a couple of cannons over at the third, so he won't be able to do too much more damage over there as well. But it looks like we do have that observer out. Pictionary did get that observer out in time, as he did see that his opponent was going for that burrow play. Now the Zerglings run over. They will not be able to do any damage over here, as all the Zerglings will get picked off. Oh, actually managed to get off 1 probe, but still not quite worth it. But the important thing is he did see that third. And unfortunately for Murazor, though, he is going to be in a bit of a rough position. We can see here in the unit counting station, he is up about 10 or so workers, but, you know, he did lose his third, and that's going to be a huge loss. Pictionary does have his third up. He also has a pretty good defensive position with all these cannons over here to defend it. He has a pretty good, sizable army as well. Meanwhile, Murazor lost his entire army for the most part. He's going to have to really take some kind of risk and play catch-up. Looks like that risk he's going to do is going to be to put on more aggression. I'm not sure how well this is going to work out. As we can see here, this is not exactly a big enough army to take on this huge army. And, you know, this army does not have any Immortals left, I don't believe. But, you know, I don't think it's going to matter at this point in time. Meanwhile, Pictionary will be able to produce 3 probes at a time. So we went back over here and said, yeah, it is true that Pictionary was down about 10 workers, but with 3 workers being produced at a time, Murazor is going to have a really good, or going to have to really take a risk to make sure he's going to either have to over-drone or he's going to have to overproduce his army. Meanwhile, it looks like Murazor is going to continue to produce some Zerglings. Going to go ahead and his risk will be to double expand to his third and to his fourth. And meanwhile, he's going to be going for this counterattack. Actually, I don't even know if he knows this is a counterattack, as the army for Pictionary is completely out of position. And once again, he was looking to put on some aggression, but he did not get a chance to take out that fourth. And it looks like this time he might be able to run straight into the main and start taking out some of the production facilities. The Zergling is getting a full surround on their robotics facility. The Immortal also pops out. Oh no, but it is instantly target fired down by those Zerglings. Now the Roaches and Zerglings are wreaking havoc on the rest of it, but it looks like these Roaches and Zerglings will probably get cleaned up. They are trying to do a little bit of damage to this army before they go out, but I think that there are so many, oh my god, this is so many sentries. Pictionary, what are you thinking? You need to be throwing down more force shields, man, if you have this many sentries. But it looks like he will still be able to clean up this army with his almost quasi-mono-battling sentry army. This is an obscene amount of sentries, and, you know, I would like to see Guardian Shield, more force shields being thrown down, maybe even researching hallucination. Pictionary clearly feeling that he has a lot more gas than he can spend, but he should be taking those probes off of gas, or maybe teching for High Templar or something to produce Archons. Even though Archons don't do too well against roaches, they would still be a great addition for against those Zerglings, and still a better use of that energy or that gas rather than just producing that many sentries. Meanwhile, we do see this roach attack coming in. He's going to be target firing down that Artosis pylon. I actually messed that one up. I think it's Artone. Artosis owned. Anyways, the Artosis pylon depowers all the cannons, but it looks like these roaches will get cleaned up. That observer there to stop the roaches from burrowing as well. The roaches did do a little bit of harassment and delayed any kind of future incoming pushes by just a little bit as well. Meanwhile, we see the sentry count still pretty high up there. He has lost a few, but it's not going to really do the same detrimental it's not going to detriment his army the same way that it normally would in this matchup. As normally, taking out just a couple of sentries means you're taking out about half or almost all of their sentries. But in this situation, taking out a couple of sentries just means you're taking out maybe a tenth of the sentries. So that means that there will still be quite a bit of energy for force fields. And wow, just the fact that this creep tumor is so close to Pictionary's base, I really again have to commend. Oh, hold that thought. There is another counterattack. So it looks like the name of the game is counterattacking, and this time Pictionary's had enough of it. He's going to go ahead and attack on his own. Meanwhile, it looks like I think that Pictionary is going to try and depend on counter warpins to really deal with that kind of push. And ignore that noise once again. I am so sorry. I did not have time to turn off all my notifications. But it looks like there are so many spine crawlers here. We got a shot of them earlier, but I don't think that they're going to be quite enough. These sentries are reducing the guardian or using the guardian shield this time to really reduce that damage. And there are the force shields. The roaches burrowing underneath though, and Pictionary is going to start to lose a lot of his army. This army's not going to be able to do quite as much. And it looks like the roaches also doing a massive amount of damage in the main of Pictionary. So great play from Murazor, ends up winning this game with those counter-attacking plays. Murazor was in such a terrible position after losing that third. Pictionary had his third up, and meanwhile Murazor had gone for that kind of counterattack play and ended up losing his entire army, not doing quite as much damage as he wanted to. But you know, he said, hey, I'm just going to keep at it. I need to take risks to get back in this game. I'm going to keep counterattacking. I'm just going to hope that he doesn't go for that big all-in, and hopefully if he does, I can go for that kind of base trade situation and continue to counterattack. And it looks like in the end, when finally Pictionary did decide to go for the big all-in attack, he really just didn't have the forces to deal with the counterattack through warpins. So Murazor managed to hold off the big all-in attack and managed to do a lot of damage in the main, finally ending Pictionary's reign and advantage in this game. So thank you so much, Murazor, for sending me this replay. If you have any comments, please leave them below. If you have any replays you want casted, please send them to feardragon64@gmail.com. I am so sorry again, guys, for all the random notifications and the Skype call interference. Anyways, this has been Fear Dragon, and I'll see you guys later.